When you're in the throes of an affair, you are pretty selfish. You're pretty self-centered. You're into the pleasure of the affair. No matter what you rationalize, it is a choice. You're making a choice, and it's about you and what you rationalize that you're doing, why you're doing it, and why it's okay. You're not thinking about your spouse, you're not thinking about your kids, and if you are thinking about them, it's more how you're going to lie or cover it up so nobody will find out. But the truth is, they do find out. Spouses are hurt from it, children are hurt from it, and not only that, but the whole idea that when your child grows up and you have been having an affair, your child is going to be affected in how they love and who they marry for their partner. And let's not forget that affairs are genetic. As much as we don't want to say that, as much as we don't want to believe that, especially at the time we're having an affair, it's familial. And usually what your child's not able to resolve growing up through that process, they will act out either being the betrayer or being the person who is betrayed. I think it's important we go through what an affair of a parent does to a child, and this is a teen or young adult, okay? First of all, there's a loss of trust. This is fear of rejection. This is basically abandonment and loss issues. A lower self-esteem is usually the end result. There's shame. Yes, there is shame. If you find out, and the children will, that their parent betrayed their other parent, there will be shame involved. And they carry that shame because they personalize things. And if it happened to a dad or a mom, they're part of that. It could happen to them. There's confusion. They don't understand what happened. There were a lot of adult terms being thrown around, or a lot of secrets being kept, and a lot of fighting, and kids get confused by all that. They don't understand it. Nobody usually sits down with them and tells them directly what's going on, because it's full of lies. And not only are kids confused, many times everybody's confused, because when you tell enough lies, you're confusing, you're throwing smoke in it so that nobody can clearly really know your actions or what you're doing. There's ambivalence. Many times kids will be ambivalent toward the betrayer, the parent who was the one acting out. They don't really know if they love them. They don't know if they identify with them. They feel ambivalent. There's resentment. Many times the child will side with the parent who has been betrayed, and they will not want to be around the betraying parent. And this isn't necessarily coaxing by the parent who was betrayed. More, it's the kid's own feeling that if you could do that, you could do that with another person. You not only didn't care about our other parent, but you didn't care about us either. And there's an acting out. Usually those young teens and young people will have more of a tendency to act out in some way. There's a lot they can't express verbally, and so they act it out later through, if they're in school, they won't do as well, they'll pull away from friends, they may get more violent, they may be more angry, they respond, they're more reactive, they respond without thinking. And let's face it, at that age, there's a lot of acting out anyway, but going through a divorce after an affair parent, it's even worse. And even if the parents don't divorce, kids find out about it, and there will be acting out because they're angry, they're shamed, they're humiliated, and many times they don't know how to talk about that. They don't have the words, and so they'll act it out. So what about if you're dating this kind of person? They're grown now, and maybe they're 20, we'll say 20 to 30 years of age. What can you expect from them? Well, the first thing, they're going to protect themselves more. They're going to put up more guards. They're going to be more disappointed. They're going to be more reluctant to really have a vision, to really believe in somebody, it sets them back. And they many times will limit themselves from taking opportunities they otherwise would have, because their self-esteem was basically bruised, and they've got to get that confidence and self-esteem back. They'll play it safe. They don't take the necessary risks they should. They like hanging out in one central area. They find it's very difficult for them to reach out, to initiate different relationships with lovers or with friends, because they kind of feel like things could go badly. They're just not trusting, and they're not sure of themselves. So they kind of pull back and wait for someone else to pursue them. And lastly, they seek partners with whom they can replay the infidelity drama. So by this I mean, this is where they usually will act out whatever happened in their family of origin. So if, let's say, their dad was the betrayer, then boys would have a tendency more to cheat on a girlfriend. Whereas if the woman, the mom, was the betrayer, the daughter might act out more and betray her boyfriend. This is because people, when we're growing up, we need to get through processes we don't understand. So what we do is we try to act out the scenario having more control. So we tell ourselves, I need to resolve this. I can't just talk about it. So they'll put themselves in the situation where they actually look like they're doing the same thing their parents did. They're self-sabotaging. But they somehow think they'll be able to put the brakes on it, or their partner will, so they can end it with a better closure. If kids don't get closure when they're growing up, then they need that through another partner or friend as they're older. And this certainly happens. The best thing you can do if you're dating one of these people and they tell you, yeah, my mom and dad split, my dad had an affair, or my mom had an affair, is talk to them about it. Talk to them about it and listen. And find curiosity by asking them, what would you do? How do you think we can protect our relationship? What would you like me to do in that role? Like, how can I make you feel safer? When we talk like this about what could happen, and we don't put cheating under the table, or we don't shelf it, rather than we bring it right out in the center and we talk about it, then it's not the big elephant in the room anymore. It's not scary. And when these young adults can talk about it, and they have a partner who understands and is willing to basically cheat-proof the relationship by reassuring their partner, sharing passwords, sharing, platforms, like being together, the more honest that you can come, out in the open, the more candid you can be, then it's going to help someone who went through a cheating incident when they were a young child, and there were so many parts they didn't understand, and they felt like they had no control. They can place different factors in their life that's going to help protect them from cheating, but they're going to need a partner who gets it, a partner who isn't just going to be dramatic and act out whatever they need to act out in their head. If this video was helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you from the bottom of my heart.